I'm not the biggest believer on curses, but god damn, the NXT curse is one that is very, very much real. And we've all heard stories of wrestlers that did great and fantastic things in NXT, only to be snuffed out and essentially buried once they're on the main roster. And while there have been some successes like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, there are more duds than you can count, and unfortunately Shayna Bayzler might be one of them. When Shayna Bayzler first entered WWE, they booked her as this massive MMA killer, tapping into her former mixed martial arts and UFC career, and it was a success in NXT, which led her to holding the NXT Women's title 2 separate times, which hadn't been done prior at all. And at the time, she was having great matches with Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Rhea Ripley. And once she lost the NXT title to Rhea Ripley, we all thought that she was destined for greatness on the main roster. Shayna, however, would not shoot up straight away to the main roster. Instead, they waited for the perfect moment when she entered number 30 in the Women's Royal Rumble match. And as soon as she got into the ring, she started eliminating people left and right, eliminating 8 women, and the crowd was red hot for Shayna Bayzler. Until she ran into Charlotte Flair, who would eliminate her, which would honestly put a damper on her debut. WWE would give her a bone though by attacking the biggest superstar, Becky Lynch, and biting her neck, which could have possibly spread any and all diseases. But not just that, they made her single-handedly eliminate everyone in the Women's Elimination Chamber match, making her look dominant as all hell. It seemed as though the royal fumble of a debut that she had was behind her as she was going on to face the biggest star in the women's division, Becky Lynch. And it seemed as though for the longest time Becky Lynch had no one to really dethrone her, but this was her first serious opponent. And at this point, Becky Lynch, she was also a year into her reign, so it made sense that she would lose to Shayna Bayzler. However, Bayzler would fall short against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, and many people online were more than shocked to see Shayna lose. But this, however, didn't mean that it was 100% over for Shayna Bayzler, and she would get another chance to redeem herself at the recent Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but again, she just could not capitalize on the opportunity as she would lose once again. Shayna just can't seem to catch a break, but there is a reason for this, because apparently Vince has allegedly soured on Shayna Bayzler, and this makes sense because it isn't the first time that Vince has had buyer's remorse on a wrestler, just like he had buyer's remorse with Baron Corbin in 2017, making him lose the cash-in of his Money in the Bank contract against Jinder fucking Mahal, and having wrestlers make fun of him on TV for it. And lest we forget what happened to poor Ricochet. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Vince turned sour on Bayzler the night that Shayna had a match with Kairi Sane on Raw, which wasn't the most exciting because fans were chanting boring over and over again, but maybe, just maybe, these seeds could have been planted earlier back to the women's triple threat match at Survivor Series between Lynch, Bayley, and Bayzler, which was not received well as, once again, that match was labeled as boring. It appears that long-term WWE has no plans for Shayna Bayzler at the current moment. Now, it is very much possible for her to go on and be booked as this great killer, but by these big losses alone, it doesn't seem like that's the plan at all for Shayna Bayzler. And the thing is, it's not Bayzler's fault, it's Vince's, because he wasn't 100% sure of her to begin with. And now that he has these doubts, it hurts Shayna. Shayna Bayzler sort of reminds me of Baron Corbin a little bit. I mean, both were booked as these massive, ruthless, heartless villains that had World Championship glory written all over them, only to have Vince sour on them, leading them into a path that they should not be on. People are obviously behind her, but slowly and surely that faith is starting to fade away as we ask, have WWE given up on Shayna Bayzler?